the AP got a bad write-up in Media Matters over their sexism and their outrageous portrayal of the Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner story by using the wrong pronouns, by using the term va-va-voom, by just like the going in and saying that Caitlyn Jenner's picture looked really good. Essentially, that's what they were saying.
And that was the whole purpose of the picture, was to be a pinup, was to have Caitlyn Jenner introduced to us on the cover of a magazine as a pinup girl. You're supposed to say va va voom. That's the intended reaction.
That was the intended reaction, but that was not.
But that's apparently sexist.
It was somehow sexist. It was very. The whole thing is quite confusing.
Is it because each little faction wants to be the faction in control and wants to be more right? Because the left tends to be about the boss and the control and the power, and so if you're the one who knows what's the right thing to say, and you can criticize everybody for not saying the right thing at the right time in the right way, then you're more correct and more pure than they are. So I mean, is this their own little battle for purity, and they're, I don't know, trying to get the cardinal's robes for themselves? Is that what this is all about?
There's some serious infighting, especially between the radical feminists and the transsexual community. They don't like each other very much.
The great thing here, and I just, regardless of what people think of Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner, the whole episode, I mean, keep in mind, this is the person who's been in close contact with Kardashians for a long time. Okay, so you can't dispel the effect that might have had. But whatever it is, look at the position that all of this is putting the left in. Because here you had the Va Va Voom cover, then you had the MMFA, getting on to AP for the way they covered it. And then you have this whole split among subsections of the social justice community over whether that is a proper expression of sexuality. And they're getting, there's a book, and some people of a certain age will know the book and remember it, where at the end, these tigers that are chasing the protagonist end up chasing themselves around a tree until they turn into butter. That's what we're going for. And if anybody wants to know what book that is, I will message it to you if you ask, but I'm not saying it on air. Because no way, because totally racist. But that is the effect that they're going to have, is when they're circling themselves, they get so distracted at following the rules and the formulas that are supposed to work and get that hierarchy achieved that Leslie was talking about, that they end up just circling each other eventually. If we keep out of it, if we keep our hands off of it. I appreciate some people wanted to have really strong statements about whether they will use the name Bruce or use the name Caitlyn, or whether there's beauty in there, on that cover or not, or Photoshop. I don't care about all that. What I'm interested in is what this does for me and the conservative movement. And that's what I'm looking at. And I think as many times as we can poke up this kind of contretemps between these guys, I'm all about it. There are some things that people in the middle are just like, well, I can understand that. That sounds kind of reasonable. And they get that and they roll with that. But the problem is that the left can't control itself. It will always go too far. And it's finding that point where the general public is going to reject the ideas and broadcasting those and blowing them up in a huge way